This is why I really have 2 days. Like they're my,
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks so much. All right, so everybody, thanks for joining us today's
How are you?
meeting of the Millbrook Valley Trails Committee, Advisory Committee. Called the meeting to order, and we respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Cabin Monaghan is located on the Treaty 20 Mishi-Sigi territory and the traditional territory of the Mishi-Sigi Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Nations for their care and teachings about these lands. May we honor these teachings. Okay, number 3, approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any questions about the current agenda? Any additions?
oh, I wanted to add something about signage on the trails. Kind of on behalf of the mountain bike club.
Okay,
It can be brief. Yeah.
we'll make that 8.9, 8.10, and move 8.10 to 8.11. Anybody else? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the amended agenda? John, seconded by Gary, all in favor? Wonderful. Okay. In our minutes from our March 25th meeting, there is one amendment in section 8.2 where we need to change spaying to spraying. Any other, I'm not sure you want to pay for spaying. Any other comments, edits? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the amended minutes from March 25th? Griffin, seconded by Maureen, all in favor. Okay. Moving on to section 7, financial report, Mr. Allen.
Millbrook Valley Trails, contracted services, there is approved 1,700 and remaining is 1,700. Materials and supplies, approved 4,800. Currently there is 4,467.07. And then we have one more invoice for the sign on the table here, which is $25.
That includes the recent purchases from.
I believe it does, I'm not already said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have purchased some materials for them, from the local. Which I can speak to later on the agenda. Any questions? No, okay.
Question as much through you, Chair, as much as I noticed that at where Taylor's recycle previously was, they're having a liquidation sale. I don't know what that means, but I think that maybe whatever products he didn't sell to the new owners, he's going to try to liquidate. So I don't know if it's something that you know, if it is the case, pop by, see if there's something that's worth us purchasing that you think may be of use and that kind of thing. Otherwise,
Okay, yeah, that may become pertinent in section
Okay.
20.
Okay.
Cool. We need to sort of talk about that sort of purchase. Okay, any other questions for Chris? Anything else? Nope. I don't even.
Just to receive for information.
Motion to receive the information by Leah, seconded by John, all in favor. It's this. Section 7.2, work update. All right.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. First of all, happy Earth Day to everybody. It's April 22nd. I also wanted to remind you, tree seedling pickup is this week. So if someone can let me know when they're going to come, either Thursday or Friday, that would be fantastic. We'll make sure your trees are ready for you.
Yeah, so I have, I guess, I don't know if the order, I assume the order was under my last name, so I'm between 12 and 5 on Friday the 26th.
Okay, you can really come whenever you want. It came in under Yvette's last name just because of how it came through in the credit card. So you really just come anytime, Thursday or Friday, and we'll accommodate your schedule. So that's no problem.
Okay, thank you. So, John, I was going to ask you, did you order any this year?
Not this year.
Okay. Good, just thought we could coordinate. Okay, so Thursday or Friday between 9 and 5?
Yeah. So I'll put them under your last name so you can ask for them that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And I don't really have anything else to update, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any for me.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. Motion to receive the org update. Murray and Glenn, seconded by John, all in favor? Great, okay, chart report for the month of April. Pippin and John were responsible. Thank you both for your email reports.
Yeah, I guess I can start, John. So I did a good chunk of the trails this month. I mean, I would say there was nothing really of note that was major. I think like after we had that big snowstorm in early April, it looks like the guys might have been out on the trails or something like that, picking up some of the heavier debris. There's some lighter stuff that I moved aside, but I didn't notice anything too large. I went a few days after that snowstorm, so I'm assuming it probably was mostly dealt with. And then I would say that like in addition to the previous comments, just to echo on with regards to like the boardwalk in that section of trail that's closed on Baxter Creek, there was multiple boards missing now that I didn't notice before. And there's quite a few nails sticking up in some places, but I mean, that's all to be addressed, I imagine. So nothing major with new there. Overall, the trails were quite muddy in general. My mud boots definitely got a good working in. I would say that the muddiest trails were the ones that were closer to the wetlands, ones that are closer to the creek. I would say that the high point on Meds Mountain Trail was pretty good. There was not a lot of mud there. And then I did notice the new signage on the Dial Detour and I don't know, I didn't get down to the beginning transit as Dr. Tapp, fortunately, but I did notice the new signage on Howard Park Drive, which looks great. So other than that, there was no major updates from my end.
Great. Yeah, I did. So on the Baxter Creek Trail, we'll address the boardwalk and the section that's closed. Just this afternoon, I was doing some measurements for the fence look at, which we'll talk about later. And I replaced the board on a small bridge just to the left of the Y, going up the hill towards Millbrook. There was a board that had been sort of broken just off the edge. It was still walkable, but I replaced that this afternoon. So that's anything else?
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah, this plant life is starting to come alive out there. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it is quick dirty money. I think I've read the paper that we got more rain so far in April. So we had more rain a week ago than we usually receive in all this stuff. John?
Thank you for getting over all the parts that you did. The comment I made about the section on Meds Mountain Trail, we've already talked about those routes that are exposed. And it looked to me, I was out 10th, I guess it was, and it looked to me after that rain that they were even more eroded. So I didn't know whether we should be counting on trying to get some chip stuff in around them or whether that's the best thing we can do but anyway, I thought I'd mention that. And as Griffin said, I did do Ganny on Saturday, I guess it was, and I think that's the driest I've seen the transit and DL probably in a year and a half or something, just various times that I've been out on the trail, but it's drier than usual, I would say. And I always mention the second bridge or the westerly bridge where the walkway is kind of tilted. You can walk along it. I guess it's more fun that way with the bikes. I'm kind of relying on Dave to tell us when it's time to actually straighten it up.
So I think it was installed that way, and it doesn't. If it's a problem at all, it can be leveled. But if it's not a problem, then there's some benefit to.
I don't find any trouble walking around it, so I don't know if anybody else is. So.
Sorry,
Good with me.
where are we talking again?
There's a boardwalk on the west side of the second bridge. Like there's a one right at Jill's Gateway, and then the second one farther along. And it's quite nice and artistic and everything. But it seems to have firmed up too in the wintertime. Sometimes it's a little rockier, but I thought it was fine right now.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Just your point about the roots exposure on Meds Mountain Trail. So I pre-built a small piece of boardwalk to address that.
Oh.
That we could do on work day. Okay. So, yeah, so it's kind of a persistent issue, so I thought we just.
You deal with that. Thank you.
Okay, any questions or comments? Anybody else notice anything that needs to be addressed before work day? On the trails? Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for those reports. Motion to receive the reports from John and Griffin. Kurt, seconded by John, all in favor? Wonderful. All right, section 8, Grand Trunk update. This is my name, but it's really more of a question to Chris. We have to get received
With Grand Trunk update, so David and myself went out and we went for a walk and we measured up, sort of how long it is, how far in it is, what the detour is, so I did send a map to, and then our with a map on it, with the detour that we're planning on doing, and, see.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on
Okay,
whether we can do the little first.
yeah, and you sent it to our contact there, the gentleman?
Jeff.
Okay. It's a potential job for work days, so. You can follow.
I can follow up
Yeah.
this week, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, that would be,
Yeah.
just good for
Yeah, I
planning.
can follow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try to get an answer.
And you think if it would be a 3-hour job for 2 to 3 people?
I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at estimating.
No, that's fine.
But,
I'd say that too, it's not horribly thick in there.
Yeah. and what would you need?
it's just loppers and saws, like hand saws and loppers.
Okay, no need for building or locker.
No, it's to avoid it. Building.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, any other questions on that? No, okay, great. 8.2. For those of you that remember, prior to the dam construction from Orca at the Distillery Street entrance, which I believe now is probably going on 5 years ago, there was a large sign, like there is at Station Trail, like there is at the trout ponds and stuff, which had to be taken down for construction vehicles and stuff. I asked Chris about reinstalling it, and apparently you found it. But we need the people power to do it, and 6x6s to do it, and you said, you know, we don't do that tomorrow, but you said it's on the list.
It's on the list, yeah, so we'll, actually, they rain day last week, we just started grading it up,
Okay,
so it's gonna be probably another rain, and get it finished up, and then, I know where the locates, with the locates for the trees, do it all at once. Leave locates to put the posts in.
okay, located for the trees.
Yeah, trees have to be located. We need locates.
Oh, like trees that are going.
They're actually the next item.
Oh, I see the replacement.
8.3, sorry, jumping ahead. So I'm gonna put these both together, bring the locates in, both of them at the same time.
Okay, great.
Knock them both out at the same time. Yeah.
So it's gonna be generally in that same area, or west of Florida.
Yeah.
Sort of past.
Yeah, if, I gotta run that by Meredith, actually. I don't know if you remember the sign is, it is, conservation property. Right beside the dam at the end of Distillery Street. Is there any issue with putting it back where it was?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's a good question. Let me just double check with our staff here. So yeah, just reinstalling the posts and the sign in its original location is all you need to know.
Yeah, same with, the 2 trees we're gonna plant too, if it's okay, if we just plant them wherever, or whether you have a spot where you want them. To replace the 2. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll flip an email over to our staff. I'll copy you on that. Okay, thank you.
Any idea on time trees?
I asked our price for sugar maple, but we'll just gotta change it.
No,
Need it.
we could tap.
That's
Yeah,
And I was just looking for it.
sure. Anybody have a problem with that? No, great, excellent. And how big? Like, I'm assuming.
So the ones we usually get are they're in between 10 and 12.
Okay, excellent, okay. And again, it doesn't matter to me, I'm just wondering, will the stumps be removed or is it? Yeah, that's right. but sort
That's
of
great.
in those same areas. Yeah, right, okay.
Cool. Here, so. Side of that, and what up, quarters by Ann Street
Yeah,
there.
okay. I just didn't know if, so,
Yeah, in that area.
okay, any questions on 8.2 or 8.3? No?
How far, from the water's edge do you estimate the original sign was?
Oh, it's almost by the flat part.
Yeah, it's quite, it's a part, it's across the driveway and over.
Yeah,
On
like
the
you stand at
far-
the edge of Distillery Street.
So
it would
quite a
be
way.
on your left side.
Yeah,
It's right
Quite
at
a
the
ways
base
away.
where
yeah,
it's flat.
Yeah.
It's right at the base, right at the border.
that's what I recall. So I don't think it would be a problem for working.
No, just make sure. Okay, do I need a motion to receive? Okay, excellent. Moving on to 8.4. So I had talked, or we, I apologize, as a committee had talked about dedicating the floating bridge, the not so known new floating bridge, but still fairly new, well, dedicated to a previous member of the committee. And then there was talk around potentially dedicating a new bridge, which, oh, it's not on here. Are we in the chat about that? No, yeah, so-
Back Street Bridge.
Chris was gonna speak to the folks in his financial update. I can make it.
okay, well, why don't we talk about it before, why don't we talk about it before the work plan? Because some of that began back. What we do anyway, so we potentially have, we have the floating bridge to dedicate and potentially a new bridge to dedicate. But my understanding from the township is there may be an issue around dedication because it was paid for potential dollars.
Yes, with the new bridge that was just installed along Baxter Creek, is that what you're bringing? Floating bridge?
Sure, that's not-
That was fully funded through RTO 8, at like every cent. So, we did have some concerns with dedicating that project, given that it was provincially funded. But that being said, we do know that bridge is a part of the larger project that is to be completed. So we could look at doing something. Once the final project has been done, but to dedicate that specific bridge, we did have some concerns.
Okay, I guess I have a question, like, the township has concerns or the provincial government that provided the fund had some concerns?
I'd say it's gray. We reviewed the terms of the grant, and there's some wording in there that we're not comfortable saying, yes, please go ahead and dedicate. I can recirculate it to you so you can take a look, but
Yeah, man, I just, like, it's all our money. there. I mean, whether the township pays for the registry, I mean, I know it's.
it was just to do with, like the naming and our commitment to, like, not the advertisement, but the.
So we were waiting for follow-up. They were gonna take pictures and they were gonna do stuff on the bridge and that sort of, with COVID sort of fell to the wayside.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody would have an issue with like a sign. I mean, I know there's signage at Station Trail that was heavily funded as well. If there was a sign that said, funded by.
Yeah.
But, I would still like to be able to say, we could dedicate this bridge in memory of, John Meadow. And I think that's kind of part of our plan going forward with new infrastructure too, right? It's a nice way to recognize the hundreds of hours of volunteer that people know.
Yeah, we're wanting to honor the people who had the original vision that this could happen here. And this happened even before greening of waterways and retention of wetland areas for pedestrian use was in style. It wasn't trendy back then, right? So there was the vision that this land that couldn't be developed on should be retained and maintained and improved for public use. Many of the people who had moved here from other areas where all green space had been lost, and there was a concern that would happen here. So, I mean, the original folks who did this work, did it all by hand, you know, and, we want to make sure that their original vision is honored. Mhm.
Through you, Chair. So are we specifically looking to acknowledge a specific person by name, or could we just get a blanket statement of founding members of Millbrook Valley Trails? Because if it's founding members, then I can't see that it would be a problem, that you're gonna be singling out any individual by name.
Well, we had discussions around sort of like
Yeah.
a single person, but it hadn't been, to my knowledge, we haven't passed that sort of voting. Yet.
Mhm.
So if it's something the committee's still pursuing, we can certainly, we haven't received the update from RTOA about what their signage requirements are. We can bring it forward, like we can keep bringing it forward.
Yeah.
If it's still something that you're interested
I think
until we
we
get an answer either way.
Are you looking to just do the bridge or the whole section?
But I guess that's a question for the committee. I mean, I think we originally had just talked about the bridge, but I'm not sure that
Mhm.
we're,
Well, this same question will come up for every ensuing bridge as well, because there are many of the original folks that you wouldn't even know. They don't live here anymore. But we on the committee and many of the citizens of the town who are on the trails all the time really would like to see those people and their energy and spirit commemorated. So every single time we put a bridge in, and in fact, the bridges that are on Station Trail could also be named in somebody's honor. You just have to.
yeah, we were probably the bridge on that. I guess we were just trying to sort of
Carry on.
carry on that idea. And again, I don't think any of us would have a problem with that. With signage that says funded by our.
RTOA.
Government of Ontario, but we'd like to maybe do this. in addition to it.
For you, Chair, I think one of the things as well, having worked quite a bit with RTO8 in the past, is they're always kind of looking for partnerships. So I think that since I'm on the board of the Historical Society, we could definitely give a letter of support or encouragement of what you propose to do with the naming of bridges from a historical perspective to recognizing past community members. And then RTO8 always loves that kind of like, oh, you've got, buy-in from, the Millbrook Valley Trails, which is the conservation end of things, as well as you have the Historical Society. And, we could show up with our people and cameras and promote the event when, I think in their case, all RTO really cares about is the photo opportunity of recognition for putting something in the paper to show funding dollars going into the communities and hey, big fake check or ribbon cutting stuff. So if that helps at all, or if you want me to approach the Historical Society, I'd be happy to loop that in and just say, hey, we're looking to name. It might be a series of things as well, if, down the line where we each year recognize some trail or something specific that would be recognizing senior, past members as well, so.
Well, let's.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see where RTO is.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back.
And then
Still on the date.
just to be clear, so the intention is for this project and then also future projects, to dedicate to original founding members
Well, I don't think we want to do that.
or just founding
That-
members.
Members.
Okay.
I
members,
don't know if we want to, run everything.
okay.
I think,
Sorry.
I think also like might help appease people's greyness on this in that I don't think it's necessarily the intention to name the bridge, which I think was the term that you used. So I can see that being a bit more contentious.
Right.
It's more sort of just a plaque with a dedication plaque
In memory.
in memory of, and that's all is it. So it's not trying to take ownership in any way, and I think that's an important thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we don't want to name bridges. When we did it for the Fairgrounds Bridge, it was very well received by them. They very, very appreciated. So again, it's just that sort of that idea, right?
Yeah, and thank you for the clarification on put kind of all of that together. That's helpful.
Okay, yeah, and if you could send me the information on that.
Yeah,
that would be
absolutely.
great, so I could read through it. Okay, any other questions, comments around that? Okay, excellent. 8.5 Hope Mill. This is more around, not the Hope Mill itself, but getting lumber from Hope Mill. So last year was the first year maybe 3 years now, we purchased lumber. And there's still some there, but it has been dug into a bit and, continues to be throughout the year, I'm sure. I contacted Hope Mill, and then a bit of good news, they're actually reducing their price, per board foot, from. You're saying here, $2 a board foot, from $2 a board foot to $1.75 a board foot. So, we usually get 110 boards, although I think last year we got 150 because we hadn't got some. So it's just sort of floating the idea. They're starting to gather the logs. I would imagine that if we get some, if we order some, they'll be ready sort of the July timeframe. Usual, but township kind of goes up for us because it's more than our vehicles can handle. So an 8-foot board, 2x6, like the typical board we always get, would be $14 a piece. And that's a reduced price, so 10 would be $1,540. But we don't have an order. I think we don't certainly don't have to order. So just thought I'd put it at the discussion. We don't necessarily have to decide now, but the sooner we get to look at that and keeping in mind we're off. So what do we think?
I think we should order some, for sure.
I'm always good to follow. You know what we need, so I trust your judgment.
Right, we've got 4,400-ish, right? 4,467. And materials. Contracted services again. We'll just contracted services.
That would be your other, sorry.
Right, that's other stuff. We've got 4,400. We need to talk about pamphlet boxes as well. And there'll be some additional money for work day, but it's not extravagant. We've got most of the stuff. There'll be some food for barbecue. John.
Will we have a better idea of whether we're going to be building more boardwalk where beyond the bridge?
That's true,
After
yeah.
the report.
Chris needs to tell us about what we're doing. So do we want to divert this conversation until after we have all the information? Okay. All right, so that's, anyway, it's a little bit cheaper this year, which is. Okay, moving on to 8.6. So I put this in, new battery purchase. So we haven't bought new tools in a long time. Maybe two to 3 years. With power tools, I'm talking Milwaukee power tools. Some of the batteries that we have are starting to sort of degrade because they've been around so long. I think we started buying 10 years ago or so. We started this collection. So I have batteries personally, and I know other few of them do, and then the MT has its own sort of tools and things and batteries. There's new technology out there. Batteries are better now, and they have more long-lasting better batteries that last longer in the same size package. And I just thought when we do things like boardwalk, for instance, and we're using the circular saw, sometimes we have to switch out batteries because those take a lot of juice, and it might be easier to get one or two good batteries instead of 3 or 4 of the normal batteries. So the prices are not that cheap. They're about $300, but it's a battery that can last 8 to 10 hours, sort of all day, as they say, out in the field. It would help with just less things to carry out in the field in terms of we're going to go out and go in one walk, or we're going to trim, or we're going to weed whack, or that sort of thing.
Are they likely ever to go on sale?
These don't, not that I've seen. So I keep an eye on too, just for personal stuff. You can get, like, I noticed a couple weeks ago, they had the drill and impact driver combo on sale. It's $100 off. You can get it for $100. That includes 2 tools and two batteries and a charger, which is a good price, but the batteries are the regular batteries. These are sort of, they're called the Forge and the 8.0. So, I mean, we don't have to, we just buy new power tools too, and get those if we need it, but right now, I think we've got one circular saw, and I think we have 3 pairs of driver and impacts. So we've got 3 drills and 3 impacts. So anyway, just putting it.
For you, Chair, where was this that you were getting?
Oh, they're the same price everywhere. So I looked at Home Depot. I actually bought one for myself.
Yep.
So I take down some ash trees in the backyard. But they're PD Mart,
Yeah.
Home Depot. they're all
My only
the same.
question, if you go to like, one of the larger places, if you make them aware that you're purchasing it for a not-for-profit, or like in our case, where you're not buying it personally, but you're using it for conservancy, they typically will give you between 10 and 50%.
Okay.
If you let them know that, you can, I would just ask customer service if they have like a community relations individual, and that person can give you the discount rate there on the spot.
Okay.
When I was at Fourth Line, it was always, hey, what's the not-for-profit rate you're gonna offer us? So if it saves us, 20, or, $60 a unit or whatever, that would be good.
Okay.
I'm in favor of you purchasing what you need. That I'm certain it would make workday a lot easier for you as well, knowing that you have that in your back pocket that you're not gonna buy out of juice.
Okay.
Even if we just bought one for this year to try it.
Just try it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see if it's as advertised.
Yeah, but then I have mine too.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts? I mean, the other option is that we buy those, a new set of impact and drills, like the twin pack. And those will go on sale again, it's definitely. Which is what June. So, but again, those just come with the regular batteries, but it would be more batteries for the sort of tools. John?
I'm kind of torn on it, because I keep hoping that they will eventually go on sale, but I can see how it would be nice to at least have one for the circular saw, because it seems to eat the power a lot worse than the drills. But most of us have our own drills that we can take.
And the weed whacker and stuff.
Yeah.
Set up.
So I don't feel too, I think I could be quite happy supporting one and wait and see for the other. So.
Okay, do we want to make a motion?
I move that we buy one of the super, what do you call it?
Let's just call them a high extended life battery.
Extended life batteries.
I'll second.
Do we want to set, and I guess we need to set up, an upset limit?
I think we're just.
I think they're 290. But if we can get. Just give it Tom's tax. Okay. Okay, so all in favor? Nice, thank you. Okay, 8.7. So, as you know, we've talked a lot about our brochure and our dog bag holders on the last few months. And Lance kindly worked with Taylor Plans and got this prototype done up. Do you want to pass it around for those who haven't seen it? I know some, I think they're around for some of them. So do you want to talk about it a bit, Lance, just in terms of what they?
Yeah, so it's local company. They quoted us at 95, but if we were to purchase the number, which Rob was suggesting that we would need, it would be down to $85 a unit. That being said, I wasn't certain we would have to purchase that many. So when I did ask previously on a turnaround time for 20, you said 2 weeks. So maybe a month at the most to get this order fulfilled if we wanted to go forward with it. One suggestion that Maureen had made was to go with the triple screwed hinge, just for durability across the top of it.
Just kind of more along the lines of this. This is a 2.5 inch. We could go with a 3 or a 4 inch.
Yeah.
Fine. Be just less wiggle.
I was even looking at the piano hinge, like a long hinge that covers the whole join.
Yeah,
Could be.
probably piano hinges, Maureen, they're usually brass. Which is
Yeah.
good for the door, and they're kind of they're not really good for exterior use.
Right,
They're
okay.
kind of dainty.
Right,
They're not durable.
right.
Yeah, they're more.
So then the question would be, would we need, because of this, we're trying to avoid paths getting wet, so would we need like, it could be even made of wood, just a piece of wood sticking out as a roof over all of this?
Well, so I talked about that with a couple of the members, and I mean, this is what I made probably 10 years ago, which is obviously based on the design, and just out of cedar. And there's really been no, I mean, there's been some wet that comes through, but it's not a huge issue. And we thought that maybe we could even just run a bead of silicone down either side of the hinge, so that when the rain does come, it'll just sort of beat off to the side.
That makes sense.
But I worry putting another piece of wood would increase the cost, but also be kind of a breakable thing.
Sure.
People could sort of lift it up and lift it up.
Sure.
I do like this idea very much in terms of the composite lumber. Again, I mean, we made these a long time ago and the cedar's nice, but the cedar does go gray and get moldy and rot. This will outlast all of us. And it's also very durable and it'll never change color. Like I quite like that color. You can get composite decking in all sorts of colors now, but I don't think you need bright yellow or anything, but I quite like that. That sort of fits in with our signage and
And the
aesthetics.
pamphlet, that really
Yeah.
pulls the pamphlet.
And it'll fit the dog bags too. Excuse me. One of the things I talked with Kirk and Dave about was some of the ones that we had made previously have the center hole punched out. So that you could reach in and grab a dog bag because, these things, you probably remember these things come out, right? So you could like reach in and pull it out, but sometimes that's more trouble than worth because sometimes you pull one out and like 30 come, right? And then they blow all over. And I don't really think it's a big deal for anybody to sort of flip the lid and pull this out and grab their bag or two. So maybe we just keep them all the same because then we could just interchange them for brochures and dog bags.
Yeah.
So I did a count and I think if we want to replace what's already on our trail network, we need about 35 of those. And that would be pretty much replacing what we have out there now and 2 or 3 extras for just sort of dog bed places on parts of the trail that aren't currently, or to have extras. Now at that, so that's 35 at 85. So that's $3,000, which is most of our budget. So I don't know what do people think? John?
I'm gonna ask the question, what did it cost to make those?
Almost nothing. I mean, I made, but this was,
That one sounds like that held up better than any of the plastic ones.
yeah, I think the plastic ones we've looked at and Cardi kindly, the back of these, the back of the package here today, she put some information, just stuff that Chris had provided me and I had researched in terms of the plastic options out there. I think, certainly up for discussion, but my opinion after seeing this one, I don't know that we necessarily want to go down the plastic route again. We could sort of discuss it. This was just cedar that maybe I had, or I guess not the same. It's not the same cedar we use for boardwalk. Maybe I resawed it because it's about 1 inch, and then the real cost was the plexiglass. So this is that's close to 3/8 thick, and that's an 1/8 thick plexiglass. And I think an 1/8 is really all we need. That's probably more. But it's the exact same idea, right? And then the hinge is, a couple bucks. So you need about, I wrote out a stat today. You need about 5 feet of wood or composite decking to make this. And then you need a sheet of you know, the piece of plexiglass or acrylic. And then you need a hinge and, you know, the screws, you basically. Screws.
Well, it makes me wonder, especially given that there's inventory being sold at Taylor Lumber.
I don't know for, I just saw a sign out saying liquidation sale
Yeah,
at the old one.
And they've got a lot of planks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and like, I have a hard enough time, you know, answering my phone messages, so I'm not a technical person. If someone has the skill set like Rob to build that and at the time, then.
Well, I sort of, just to work it out, so, for comparison purposes. So I think, in my opinion, again, it's up for, so I don't get a vote, but it's certainly up for debate with the committee. I like the idea of composite lumber. Like, I think that's a good idea. That's a good design. As I said, it will never rot. It lasts us. They're very sturdy, not very difficult to break, and won't sort of, you know, get rotted, etc. I mean, yes, that's how that. But there's others that haven't, right? So Merit Home Hardware, and they're all basically the same. You can get a 20-foot length, so that's 1 by 6, 20-foot length of composite decking that you want for $45. You can get a sheet of acrylic plexiglass that will make 12 pieces, 12 of these for $42 a sheet. So one sheet will create 42 footers, and then a hinge, if you buy them in bulk, it's about $4. And it's a wider hinge, talked about 4.5, 5 inches. And then, you know, screws are kind of we've got the screws. So we can make them for $19 a box, as opposed to $85. And again, like, in talking to some of the committee members in the last couple of days, like, I don't mind making them, but I think if, you know, we were to get a few people in my workshop and set up a bit of an assembly line, I think we can knock them out in an hour and a half. They're not difficult, right? You just cut all the pieces at once, and then you have a couple of people screwing them together, whatever. And again, this is not something we need tomorrow, right? So you know, we don't need to make 35 500. It's just we can sort of work it as it is. But that's just one option. I mean, there's, you know, there's that option. There's the option from Amazon, etc., whatever.
2 of the ones from Amazon don't fit our fruit bag.
Okay. fair
Or
enough.
our pamphlet, so they,
Yeah, I was trying to give examples.
So
Yeah.
Rob, what did you say it would cost $29 for estimate?
19. And in fact, a little less than that, because the bottom piece is not a full piece. 2 pieces out of that, but I just used a 5-foot piece.
So for tax, that's only $665, not including tax.
For 35 stock.
and do you already have a composite? Yeah, so that's the difference is, you know, can't use a regular saw.
We can, but it's not as pretty.
Shredded, melted. But that's, I think he did a fantastic job for us. The question would be, if we go that route, would we buy this from him or return it to him?
Oh, we have to pay because he's produced it, so.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So would he give it to us at the 95 that he wanted? Yeah, okay.
The 90 or 95?
95 is what the price was.
Well, what do people think? Did everybody get a chance to look at it?
Personally, I think it makes a lot more sense to feel something that lasts a lot
Yeah, I
longer.
agree with that too. It's just better looking at them. Need something. Yeah, the plastic ones out there are pretty cheap.
So I think it's definitely going with this, just how we go about it in terms of time and tools.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the tools we've got.
Okay.
The time is not, I think the only the minor hiccup in going with this, if we build them ourselves rather, is that the boards come in 20-foot lengths and they won't cut them for you at the lumberyard because they don't want to. So I would need township, and I can't.
Yeah, we can help.
We don't. It's not a huge.
Yeah, that's not big.
Okay, So that's fine, you could just drop them. But that, yeah, that was the only thing, was getting the boards, but if that's not an issue. And the acrylic, the plexiglass sheets, by far the cheapest price I found actually was on Amazon. So they were $142 at three places I called, and they're $42 on Amazon. So we shouldn't. But again, I mean, I don't want, it's what people think.
Yeah, well, $3,000 is half our budget gone.
Well, it's pretty much, it's pretty much our
But-
entire materials budget gone for the year with the other stuff we got. But
Yeah. So,
I would be inclined to go with we make it and save the money.
If you're looking for volunteers, like, I don't want the responsibility of using your tools, but if you're having to work with them, like, you know, I could probably put some screws in. Or something.
yeah, well, that's what I thought. Like you just set up a jig and just cut 30 of these pieces and then 30 of these pieces, you know, whatever. It's not difficult. It's just.
I'll volunteer Dan. Dan would like to work there. Yeah, so we would ask him to invoice us for this prototype, and unless he wants it back. I mean, this would be a big seller for him. Maybe give
yeah,
him,
no, I totally-
give him the offer, because truly it could. I mean,
Yeah, for real estate or whatever. But I mean, whatever.
I think we ask them like to do it, then like, I can purchase it on behalf of the mercantile and.
No.
no, I mean,
No, I don't
ours
want to
will look
ask
like
him
this.
to take it back.
Not at all.
Okay.
No,
So we need a motion then, or do we need a motion at the invoices?
We're gonna have spending, so why don't we just do a combination that, you purchase the prototype, but then also you'll need money to purchase your materials. So if you want to do an upset limit for the prototype and the materials.
Okay,
Say $800. But a wiggle, $1,000.
yeah, because the $19 is before tax. So what's that?
That's $100 on 120.
And plus the, we're making that a tax too.
Yeah.
And what was on,
Probably save it 1,000.
an outside of 1,000?
So we say 1,200, like it's a $200 buffer, because you're always trying to be diligent on spending dollars, so. We're still 2/3 of the cost, or $1,200.
Well, actually, the $45, the boards of merit, they're actually on sale under the clearance, so they're on sale until they're gone. We've got 75 pieces of that color left, so I don't think we're gonna go tomorrow. But, yeah, the regular price for 24 was about $60.
Yep.
Yeah, say it's a couple of bucks.
Sure.
Okay, so if everybody's okay with that, I'm certainly not trying to push this. I do like the design very much. I mean, the design is essentially the same as this, but this wasn't my design, it's just for that. I do like the use of composite texture, so in my opinion, that's the way. And we can even, I mean, I think it's pretty much straight, you know, we can change it a bit if we need it.
And I know that I brought it up at, I think like last year, when we were in meetings, and, you know, something that we could consider would be to approach Mexicon to see if they would want to maybe sponsor the trails box. And then in exchange, we could put their logo on it saying, you know, probably funded by it, and then we could, you know, offset the cost of trying to do that. We ask them for 2,000, and, you know, the residual money can go into our fund to do other projects. Not saying that they will, but they've got money in their budget to do community events. And I know that John had previously said that he's leery about trying to do sponsorship, but I think like Mexicom and the community and, you know, their history and kind of thing. I don't think that there's kind of other businesses that would want to step up to do something like that, but considering their staff uses the trail, which is other things that, and something to consider. if I have a prototype, I can definitely go, you know, on behalf, I think probably just because of the counselor, I wouldn't want to be the sole person, so maybe David. Or one of you, Maureen, if you want to come with me, you can arrange a sponsorship, maybe sit down with them and say, hey, we'd love for you guys to support the cost for us to do this. So, just something for you guys to think, if you wanted to look for alternative funding, so it's strictly one episode.
But we need to put the logo, their logo on each box.
I would think so, just, you know, same as like they donated the bike rack to the BIA, so they just have a simple sticker saying, you know, it's just an Exit sticker, and that's good. So.
And be the guy to say no, and then you can vote yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I just,
Well, I think maybe we could look into, I mean, one of the things we're gonna need to do is update our sign, like the big signs, right? And like,
it's a bigger ask, let's get this one.
we need. You know, we've got. 4 signs now, two Station Trail, one at the Chart Ponds, and then this new one, well, the old one. But I would like to see one at Calgary Drive and Middle Trail. We've got room. To the left of the trail, is that kind of that open space? And I would like to see one at Fairgrounds. But we need to, you know, we're gonna do these, potentially these new trails, et cetera, like we'll need to update them there. So maybe that's the bigger ask.
Yeah, or if not Exit, maybe whatever one of the builders, so it's separate from the township and any DCs, but. You know, you're coming to the community, you're, you know, the homes you're selling these homes to. You know, the families are using these trails, walking their dogs, like it looks good on them. To be able to put, John wants to talk, which, you know, it's, once again, there's bigger fish you work for.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this isn't anything against Nexicom.
No.
I value them as a member of the community. This is about public space. That's public as opposed to sponsored. And you can actually go out there and see a tree. Maybe I'd like to put a sticker saying John Paulus is great, but not everybody wants to see it. And so anyway, I think we should think seriously before we take sponsors for open space.
Okay, well, I think for this, we've got the money in our budget, so we don't need to have that discussion, but we could keep it in mind for future projects if need be. Okay, so could I have a motion to? We want to combine the invoice for the prototype to Taylor Designs and the potential spending. Is it township okay with building these?
Yeah, maybe
You like the design?
I like it. I think it looks good. I think it is gonna last.
Okay, so can I have a motion, John?
Through you, Chair, I apologize. What is the dollar amount you want for that assessment? What, 1,200 or 1,000? Or more, it's your, you want.
Like 1220.
And Mr. Foss, you're okay with that?
I didn't actually hear the plan. I was assuming 1,200.
1,200, okay. So you.
I'll second.
All in favor? So you'll get back to, can you, or do you want me to? Or?
No, it's fine.
Okay, can you thank them very much?
Yep,
for-
I'll
on
thank
behalf
them,
of
I'll
us?
pay them, I'll get it in place.
So it just, if they.
Do you want me to just pay them when they go in? Oh, okay. Send it to the township?
Yeah.
Send it to Dutch.
Okay.
Take care. Yeah,
You?
excellent. Okay, so maybe before we talk about workday planning, we talk about what's happening with.
So we have the 3 projects that we're going to work on with the capital money that was provided this year. We have the boardwalk on the west side, which is approximately 130 meters long. We have the east side, which was approximately 34 meters long, and we have the Baxter Creek Bridge. So boardwalk on the west side, we are waiting, still waiting on our permit to come in. I did get a message while we were in here. Actually, they're just looking for a few more pictures for the permit. Hopefully get the permit this week. So we're looking at starting the boardwalk on the west side as soon as possible, as soon as we get the permit, which is $48,000. And then we'll move on to Baxter Creek Trail Bridge, which the quote came in at $13,250 to build to the committee's design.
So so, no, go ahead. No, last question.
Yeah. And then the east side of the boardwalk, the 34 meters, we're looking at $16,800 for a total of $78,050, which is within our $80,000 budget. With municipal HST, we're looking at $79,423.68.
Okay, so the 136 meters, Chris, on the west side,
131 bucks.
131.
Yeah,
That's what's there now? Does that take us to the old Beaver Dam?
that takes you, yeah, all the way to the server.
Okay, but not, it doesn't include the little footbridge over there.
No.
No, okay, so just the,
Just the
basically.
existing boardwalk that's.
It's continuous.
Yeah.
Okay, and the east, that's everything from the
Existing boardwalk.
the existing boardwalk,
Same-
right to the
same-
bridge,
same-
right to the new bridge,
the new bridge.
to the float bridge. Like,
Yeah, so-
Walking, stepping off the dirt.
Yeah.
From the Y, going down that little
Yeah.
thing, stepping
Yeah, so
off.
as
the
soon
dirt,
as you get on the
stepping
boardwalk to the bridge, that
All of
whole
it.
section.
All of it, okay. And the Baxter Creek Bridge, the design, so they're gonna use steel I-beams?
Yeah.
And pickets,
So this was the price to the design.
so no real changes to
So
the design.
changes other than the hardware, because some of the hardware was a little bit.
Okay, so, concrete footings?
Yeah.
Bolted onto the I-beams?
So he's happy a little bigger.
You said I'm not a bridge.
Yeah, it was too much weight for the solid.
Okay, and the only real difference from our design would be pressure treated, for the boardwalk.
Right.
So when it's just pressure treated.
Right.
Okay, sorry, I'll open up here in a second. My last question is timing.
Timing, waiting on the permit.
From-
Yeah, I can't say go ahead, so it depends on when the permit comes in and
But presumably.
sooner than later, if we get the permit. Sooner.
In August, we're going in the front.
Yes.
Okay. It's a, but in your estimation. After what? Okay.
By now,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay, questions to Chris?
Now, the boardwalk area, he's ready to go as soon as. He is.
Right, with your reference, president. And they will bring materials in by motorized vehicle from Portland.
There we go. So it'll be ATV and a small trailer. They will likely frame them up ahead of time. They'll be bringing the frames in. They're going to put the tack board on top.
And that's all pressure treated.
Yes.
And galvanized target?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the east side boardwalk will be
It'll be
pressure
changed.
treated as well?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Just walk it.
Yeah, so the pressure treated has a more longevity than.
Mhm. Mhm.
But sorry, they'll walk it over the bridge from the town. Okay. And for the bridge. They're gonna bring it in, how are they bringing the steel items? They'll walk it in?
It'll be a video.
And then stick it.
It'll be a piece of machine. Yeah, it'd have to have a piece of machine.
So, and you're gonna put a temporary bridge over the creek,
Yes.
like to get to the,
Yeah.
the first,
Yeah.
first L shape, footbridge. Okay,
So there was talk of laying the beams down, barely across the loop, or they'll pick beams up, pull back over again. And then have another beam get out,
okay.
like a wooden one.
Is there any anticipation of removing any trees that are there now or something?
As of right now,
Okay. If,
I think there's a couple that are on the ground right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's a couple.
They have to be
couple
chopped
logs
up.
on the ground.
Mhm.
that kind of, and there's some cedar rail that we've used to shore up the trail right at the entrance of the nest, or Baxter Creek. That are just held in the through by, like almost sort of direction, but I don't think that's wide enough for bobcat up here, so the fun that so they're gonna guess what I'm asking is, will they sort of put things back as they're done? Or will that be up to us?
Have a little bit better.
Okay,
And look at to us.
and leading to that question is, one of our big chores was to lay mulch to that bridge. Is it gonna be worth doing that? And,
I don't think it should get disturbed much,
you
so
know, really will help.
I think it'll probably help, if it's a damp area, and probably. It might be good to build it right up at the start where you're talking about.
So that won't be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, my concern, that area where all those tree pieces have fallen down, that area is a place where it's sort of like an outdoor classroom where some of the teachers bring their kids, and that's the first place they stop, just to get the sound of the creek in their ears and to, you know, see the trees in there and the shafts of light coming out.
You're talking about past the bridge.
No, I'm talking on this side of the bridge before. There's also the area where the bistro
Hurricane
tables are
one.
cut, yeah. So just as you're coming, that's where they stop first to just get their feeling for what is going to come. That's where the magic starts. So it's really important that that area be improved, not disturbed. So if we could get some of those fallen branches down so that fallen trunks down so that, or chopped up so that the excavator has more room to move in that open area rather than going through other parts that are treed, that would be great. Mhm.
So unfortunately, that area has the little boardwalk that curls
I
around.
know,
You
yeah.
can't get you, so that's the only spot across the street.
Mhm.
Skateboard.
Yeah, but would they not have like, you know, amphibious engineering ramps or something to put down over that?
Oh, they'll put something, yeah, you're not gonna go right down.
Right,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
good.
Yes.
And timing in terms of how long it's continued. Because like, well, because again, like we mentioned before, that's the most popular trail. So
Yeah, so it's,
2 weeks.
no, it'd be less than that. It'd be-
Okay.
We'll just get this is concrete ready to go.
Okay.
To tear it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And the boardwalk,
Boardwalk, I really got time on it, but it's, he wants to get in and do it as soon as possible, and as fast as possible. Because they're looking up right now.
okay.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to you before, we've got those signs, the trail construction. So you let me know.
Yeah.
Put them up, so it's on people.
Yes.
We can get people. Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be on the, you know, the closed part of it, but certainly we're gonna have to put them at lower nets. That's. Will there'll be no impact, but people can still use upper nets travel.
Upper minute will be fine, we'll have to, just have to shut down bottom there.
Yeah.
The timeline there.
Yeah.
Get the bridge.
Okay.
It's 4 or 5 days, whatever. And it'll be weekdays.
Questions? For the boardwalk, they're going right on top of the existing stuff,
Yeah.
and are they?
So it's not sitting right on it, it's gonna be, there's gonna be from that post.
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
it's just above it, it's not.
It's about, it's on spots to be like right on, like, well, there.
Oh, yeah, I was not considering that.
And there'll be a transition from the floating bridge too. Thank you to your team for taking care of those, down trees.
Mhm.
There's no huge damage to the bridge. any bridge.
Just that one post I haven't been able to see, they would fix it, so I don't know if anybody's seen it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
I was there today.
Yeah.
It's good.
I could put a
Shimmed it
bit
up.
of timber up by the side of it, just to put that on.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody? Okay, well, I guess that answers your question, John. We won't need to do any.
Mhm.
Of note there, though, is that we shouldn't forget that in anticipation of having to do those boardwalk repairs, there's quite a bit of wood.
Mhm.
Right, there's quite a bit of wood stashed in each side.
Right.
I mean, you know,
we will need to replace some stuff eventually, but should we be in need of other stuff, we can at least get it. It'll be a number of years, I think, before we need to make any repairs of that size to that area. Hopefully.
Well, so the work that's being done is just for the long segment that connects directly to the floating bridge until the first one gets dirt. But then any of the other smaller boardwalks along the way are not.
No, this
There's,
is,
there's work to do there.
yeah, so if you're on the bridge both ways till the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's work to do on those other smaller.
But I don't think we should tackle that for workday, because we don't know when this is gonna be done, and I want all the machinery out of there before we fix stuff. So maybe we look at a later summer or early fall workday for that, because we wanna open it up this trail as soon as possible. So once it's done, we can go ahead as a committee and evaluate what needs to be fixed. If we need to do some minor stuff to make it, safe, we do that, and then maybe we need to be sort of longer repairs for new construction. We look at that prior to the snow coming. Sure. Sound good? Okay, questions, comments? All right, thanks, Chris, appreciate that. Very good. Okay, so that brings us to 8.8, which is workday planning, so that we know what is going to be done in that area. I have a number of things to go through. I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. But I thought maybe we could take some time tonight to maybe designate certain people on the committee, because this workday, I think, is going to be a bit spread out more than it has other years. And so I'd like to maybe get an idea, first of all, who's going to be able to attend, and then maybe we can coordinate people in charge of certain projects. So I guess that's the first question. Is there anybody that's not going to be able to come on the workday?
It's May 4th we're targeting, right?
Awesome, excellent. Okay, that's great. Second question, Chris, will there be any parks and grant resources? Let's go into that. Just that, excellent. Okay, can we have some wheelbarrows? Because mulch moving is a big part of our workday this year, and just on thought of it. Is there an extra picnic table for next? You said that there might be one benefit. It's not a huge deal. It's just usually we have two in the park, and right now they're only the one.
Yeah, because I think there's 4 on the other side right now.
3.
Yeah. We can do a little over. I haven't been around all the parks, I can see what we got where.
I noticed there's one at the yard,
Yeah,
but I don't think we've got it designated.
that one's going to the island there. That was still.
Oh, okay. Okay, oh, yeah, no, that's great. No, I just thought I'd ask. Okay, so let's start with the easy stuff first. I think we can get the kids. There's going to be quite a contingent this year from the karate class. According to my neighbor, she's going to have, we're excited, 8 or 9 kids last year. There might be as many as 15 this year. So I'd like to get them and teenagers spreading the mulch. So we're going to need mulch spread basically from the old library orchard behind my house to the bridge, to that bridge, and then that small section from that bridge to the boardwalk, just because it's very muddy. And then, of course, we want mulch spread from the willow tree to the new bridge. I want it on the other side of the creek as well. And then at Upper Meds, we're going to have some dumped as well. And I'd like to spread it just past the little bridge over the creek there. I don't know, 68 feet up. And I like to try and bury that big old, the big old kind of, it's a bit muddy, but I think that's a good job for kids. We're gonna
Raking under the willow. And
raking under the willow,
it's
cleaning
gonna
that
be
area up.
big this
Yeah.
year.
Garbage pickup, we can also get the kids to do, although, in pretty good shape in terms of garbage, I think. I'd like, if we get a lot of little kids, I'd like them to pick the garbage up, along in front of the arena and, back in front of, and along Distillery Street, and that sort of V and around the island, because there's quite a bit of stuff left over from, the winter. We're gonna need to plant the seedlings, so maybe Maureen, I could have you sort of in charge of that and the mulching sort of.
I'm gonna really have to think because where to put. I mean, a lot of what I was going to do was going to be along the closed trail. So I have to rethink. Let's see.
Well, we could keep it,
By the pond.
well, we could keep it, wet until the construction's done and better then.
Mhm.
But you think about that.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to do is in Meds Park, I would like to get the teenagers, maybe with some adult supervision, to dig up the 3 posts. So the posts for the sign post that says Millbrook at lower at the Baxter Creek entrance, and the post that has the plaque on it for the recognition of the founding members. And then the signpost at Upper Meds, they're all sort of tilted because of frost heat. And I thought I could just get them to dig them up, straighten them, just make it look a little cleaner and nicer. And that's a fairly easy job for, I think, teenagers and maybe with some adult supervision, because I don't think mulching is going to take the whole time. So that's another job. Like the big job up there, sorry, at the Baxter Creek at the Y Junction, as I said, I've built a 5-foot section of boardwalk that'll just need to be put together just to the east of the Y. On the west side of the Y Junction, the big pipe has become, it's really exposed and it's almost a trip hazard. So if we could just get somebody to sort of bury that, build new trenches and bury that, that would be good. The big job on the Upper Meds and the Baxter Creek is the replacement of the gate at Millbrook, Stevens Gate. So again, I have pre-built the gate in my workshop. So it's the same idea. I've used the cedar that we currently have. So I built 3 cedar posts. I've laminated our cedar deck boards together to create 3 posts. There's 6.5 feet long. The idea that 5 feet will protrude out of the earth as is now. So we'll bury 18 inches and we'll use the existing post holes that are there. So everything's built to scale to be the exact same. We'll need to dig out those holes a bit more because the holes there are 4-inch diameter cedar posts, and my posts are 5-inch square. So we just need to dig them out a bit, and I'm not sure how far down they are. I assume it's probably at least a foot, so we might need to dig a few more inches out. And then I pre-built the gates on either side, so they rudimentary picture here. So this is kind of the idea. This is what it looks like. So it's just 2 pieces of cedar with 3-foot cedar boards running in between. And they're 8-inch spaced in 8 inches apart. But that'll all be pre-assembled. So we'll erect the fence posts in the ground. I bought the post in a bag mix that we've used before, right? So you just rip it open and the 2 chemicals react and hold it up. We'll need to make sure that they're nice and level vertically, but also in a row against each other. And then these cross members are glued and screwed together. So I think it's going to be a much stronger gate than before, and be much more difficult for people to sort of kick them out or something. And so once the 3 posts are in the ground and sturdy, then all we'll need to do essentially is screw them into the 3 posts. And I think maybe we'll use legs instead of screws, just for extra sort of strength. So my plan is to deliver all of that material, the 3 fence posts and the 2 gate pieces, to the Upper Meds trail entrance, because that's by far the easiest way to get it in rather than going over Baxter. The morning of, so we'll need some people to carry those in. And again, they're not heavy because they're cedar, but they're, that was easier to put them together, to build them together rather than build them on site. So we'll probably need a couple people for each piece to walk them in and then dig the holes and then do the work. So again, I'm not volunteering you, but I thought John would be a good person to sort of direct that work. You've got experience with post holes and things. I'm sure.
It looks so long.
Yeah, but there's really not much to it. Like again, we've got a few 6-foot levels and I'll have a string line just to make sure that everything's straight across the top. And I'll sort of be around, but I think it's pretty
It's like the
straightforward.
critical moments. You could use.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty straightforward. So that's the big job in that area. So again, we can have just sort of other people, we can have maybe a couple people putting together the small boardwalk to the east of the Y. And then maybe those same people could dig and bury the big O west of the Y. And they can maybe go back and help with mulch, etc. Again, as always, it's going to depend how many people show up on the day of.
And I suggest that we all have each other's cell phone numbers in our phones. I don't have everybody's, but it would really help if we did.
Yeah, I think we could do that in the end of the meeting. At the fourth line, I haven't checked today, but do you know if they dropped the gravel?
I don't.
Okay, so I've asked for gravel to be dropped at both sides of the fourth of Zion line, the trail entrance. The idea is we're going to spread gravel from the south side of Zion to the duckboard, because it's kind of wet. We put gravel there 8 or 9 years ago and it seemed to help quite a bit. It's quite muddy, quite wet there. Obviously it's wetter than usual, but that will help. And then more gravel on the north side will be dumped there. So we'll need at least 2 people, hopefully more, maybe as many as 4 people and a couple wheelbarrows to wheelbarrow and gravel basically from the road, from the fourth line to the Zion line, right up to, well, as far as we can make it, but certainly to that first bend where it gets really wet there. And it's really wet now. I think from where they dump the gravel on the south side at Zion line, you could pretty much just throw it with the shovel. I mean, the boardwalk's pretty close. It's kind of from here to the door, right? Like it's not that far, so we'll be able to spread that quite easily, maybe with some rakes. So we'll need some people there. I have rebuilt the sign at the trout ponds that snapped off in the winter, that was rotted at the bottom. So Maureen kindly delivered to the old one to my house, and I have scabbed it. So I put an extra 2 feet on the bottom, and then I've scabbed it on all 4 sides with pressure treated wood. So the idea is that basically we need to dig a new hole, and again use that post hole in the bag stuff and erect that. And we need to make sure that we put it the right way, because there's directions on all 4 sides of that post. So we need to put that in the ground. And then depending on how many people we had, I've got a lot of offcuts from building the boardwalk and the fence post gates. So I thought maybe we could, if there were a couple people, they could lift up on the south side of Zion, the boardwalk leading up to the trout ponds. Those are pretty bouncy. Partly that's due to the amount of water there this year, but I thought if there were 2 people, Henry and I went out a couple days ago, and you just sort of use a shovel and you lever one side up and then shove like a 2-foot piece of cedar underneath. It just makes it less springy and more firm. So we could certainly, that's another job that people could do. Kirk, I'd like you to be in charge of doing that reroute on the 4th line that we talked about, north of the 4th line on Baxter Creek Trail. And so how many people would you need for that? Couple people, and do you think that would be most of the 3 hours?
Probably.
Okay, and then maybe depending who's around, maybe you could sort of keep an eye on the gravel and spreading and stuff around there. Yeah, okay, cool. On Cedar Trail, we need 2 new 8-footers. How far up the trail is that?
It's almost to Roots Revival. Well, halfway between the bridge so that we share with the mountain bike folk
Yeah,
and Roots Revival.
okay. Okay, well, maybe
No,
I'll.
wait a minute, no,
Oh,
it's
it's the other
before, it's on this side. Yeah, it's on this
Closer-
side of the bridge,
closer to
yeah,
Sharp Ponds?
yeah, closer to the Sharp Pond.
Okay, I'll try to get to that then before we, but that's.
You talking about that section that's just that bit of a hill?
Yeah, it's just,
Before the bridge.
it's
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
long board and it's down to 3 boards rather than 4.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Okay, so then, if we get permission to do Grand Trunk rewrite, then Dave, you can be in charge of that, obviously, because we know where it needs to go and stuff, and then you can take your 2 or 3 people. You're okay? You're
Totally.
be in charge of that? Okay,
Sure.
great. So that leaves Gary and Griffin. And again, none of this, is what you guys say what you want to do. One of the jobs we need to do on the rail trail is, I think, over top of the bridge, the rail bridge, where we put those 6x6 pressure treated before. I think we need to put 1 more 6x6 across. I think it needs to be a 12-footer because there's 10-footers there now. So we put 1 new 12-footer across the top and nail with 12-inch spikes, which we have, nail it into the existing boards underneath. And then drill on both sides of the 6x6 hole and then put a 2-foot piece of rebar down just to hold it. And then we've got a piece of 2x8 that we can use to sort of scab the back, because there's, we've got the, if you're standing sort of behind the rail trail, behind the wall, as if you're going down to get on top of the bridge, down the steep hill, you're staring, looking at it. We've got 3 6x6s like that. Right? There's a little bit of erosion happening in this corner. So what I'm proposing is putting a new 6x6 on top of that, right? With rebar here. But then using a couple pieces of the 2x8 that we bought and just cutting a couple pieces and sort of shoving them into the earth, the hill on this side, and screwing them to the 6x6, just to sort of stop the gravel from coming down here. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And then maybe it'll only take probably 3 or 4 buckets, like those Home Depot buckets that we have of gravel, just to sort of fill in behind, like on top of the road trail, just to sort of level it out. Maybe we can tamp it down, right? Does that make sense? Again, I'm gonna be around.
Yeah.
Explain it more, but I think if we're gonna get the township to pick up that wood, then maybe I'll get you to pick up that 6x6 too, because it's a bit more. Want to with that hanging at that. So yeah, so that's sort of the job for the rail trail. And then the other, can you bring Google Maps up? Do that, bring Google Maps up?
Not. Really looking
Okay, the Baxter Creek Court. So does everybody know where Baxter Creek Court is? By McGuire Drive. So we look at, is it even on the map? Yeah, it is. So this little crescent here is Baxter Creek Court, and this is McGuire Drive. And probably 8 or 9 years ago, we sort of adopted this area because a lot of kids use this as a cut through to get to school in the mornings. The kids that live up in this area and live along back in McGuire Drive, rather than having to go all the way up to County Road 10. So we built a bridge over this creek a number of years ago. And because lots of kids ride their bikes and stuff across. But this area here is low lying and it's very wet. So the township very kindly dumped what must be
There's a lot there.
4 yards or more of mulch. And we just need to spread that mulch to wheelbarrow it in from the court, down the little hill and just spread it out along that pathway to sort of help with the,
So at the end of Back to the Creek Court, the, mulch.
yeah, if you go there now.
There's.
Yeah, you got on it, Tom?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know it's, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever done it, but there's quite a nice bridge there.
Yeah.
And so again, it's quite wet there now this year, this time because of all the rain we've had, but I think the mulch will help a lot. So would you be okay with doing that? And
Yeah,
we'll send a
sure.
team with you?
Yeah, sure, that sounds,
Okay.
sounds good.
Other than that, there's, we can certainly find other jobs. I've got some more signs and stuff to put up, which I can do, but I'll be sort of running around as usual. I've got a steel at the big sign at the trout ponds, at the beginning of the trout ponds, our big sign, one of the posts is rotted out. Somebody noted that, I think last year. So I've got a steel post to drive in behind it. I'll just bang it into the ground and then I'll screw the post to just to keep it stable. You don't really notice it unless you like hit it and it goes, but I'll try to get that done before workday. But I think that's sort of it, unless anybody else has some real thoughts on. And again, if we don't have permission, then we'll certainly have other things we can do, but hopefully we can have that. Is there any other thoughts on what needs to be done?
I think that's enough.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is, but I mean, it's not,
Mhm.
it's a lot, but I don't think it's as taxing as some of the other ones we've done.
No, I mean, building the staircase and rebuilding the staircase.
Yeah.
And
Chucking
building,
into it.
yeah, that. So
I think the
I
hardest
think this
part,
is all very doable.
yeah, I think the hardest part of the fence build would just be getting material. Again, it's not that heavy. I think two people, you carry each post, 2 people, it's not.
So you want us there an hour before?
They're 6.5. Cause I want 5 feet out, because that's what they are now, 5 feet out. And then, so 18 inches. Yeah, it's not
There's
good.
no frost up there.
No, but I mean, I can't imagine they're more than 12 feet. 12 to.
So these are obviously not original. Fine. For the gate.
Oh, I.
Oh, okay.
I
I thought it was gonna be a serious fence. Because rock is.
Well, but I think it'll work.
Well, I'm not saying it's perfect, no, I'm relieved.
And then, yeah, I mean, and then spreading the gravel, I think will make a huge difference. And that's a lot of work to do, but again, as long as we can get roads to dump that gravel there, it's really not, we're not talking about, we don't have to wheelbarrow it in for miles, right? We're just, as much as we can get, we'll use it and spread it, and then we'll maybe do more next year. But I think that's good. Okay, so maybe while we're thinking about it,
Sorry, just one thing. I'm not 100% I can make it. My manager's father died yesterday, so she was supposed to go with my wife this weekend to come back to pick up cheese. And if the funeral's this weekend, then they're going to come back the following weekend, and then potentially funeral maybe the following weekend. So I'll know more. I just text.
okay,
Saturdays typically are worst day for me with business. but-
okay, well, let me know.
Yep, I will let you know.
Okay, who doesn't have my phone?
For future, we can exchange phone numbers after the live, which is for your personal information.
Right.
But that being said, you do need a motion for the barbecue, so just a set limit, how much to spend. I can usually do. We'll go ahead.
Because, well, it's so much more expensive this year. And I don't know how many people have been. So.
Yeah.
We want to say. So. Just to be safe. I don't think, I won't get that much.
I feel like it was 250 or 300 last year. I just. It'll take me a minute.
We're gonna say 4 then?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion for 4. Grant, on favor with Dave?
And then did you want to go back to Hope Mill at all, or we don't, you know?
Well, no, I think we know what we need, what we are doing and aren't doing. I think it sounds like the boardwalk and that, you know, the vast majority of the boardwalk is gonna be taken care of. But as Dave mentioned, you know, there'll be the other stuff. There is some wood up there already, but probably not enough to handle the drones. And, you know, we always want to have wood on hand. But that's what people think, right? What do you?
Can we just recap where we're at? So let's say 400 for Barbie. Battery was, let's say 300. Keep count there.
And then 1,200 for the pamphlet materials.
Right, so that's 1,900. Anything else?
If the pamphlets themselves, when we print them, how much will they be? We were thinking 600 at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be more than that.
And that comes out, that's not the materials, not contracted services. You can't switch, you can't depend on contracted services.
I think it was great last night, we had to put third last
That's
year.
your.
That's why we put up to $1 this year, since we wrote the budget last year.
Right, but hopefully we don't spray as much this year.
No.
We never know. Okay, so let's keep that. Okay, and then it would be, if we made the same order as usual, 110 pieces, what did I say, that was 1450? 1540. So 1,600 bucks for wood, if we went that original rate of 110 pieces, plus 600 for pamphlets, plus 1,200 for the boxes.
What's
So
the
we're at
battery?
4,040, we're at $4,000. Now, I don't think the pamphlets would be $1,200, even with paying for the prototype. Because I worked it out, and we say each box would be 19 bucks and we 35, so that was 600 something.
I think we're close to 8. We're taking tax out of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we put it up to 1,200. Oh,
Because the pamphlets.
right, okay. Again, we don't need to order wood tonight.
How long do you think the prices will be at their current state?
Oh, for the season.
Okay.
Yeah, these are a bunch of.
Yeah.
General Electric retirees and others in the company, just to cover the house, but, yeah, I mean, I think we'd probably be okay making an order in May. But I think they would appreciate knowing sooner rather than later. I think we throw in there's, unless you, if you don't want to do it tonight.
You're all of them.
Why not
We don't
lowball,
spend the money.
why not lowball it and then order some more in May? Like, you were saying 1,600, so if you ordered 1,200 or something. Got a few hundred, 500.
So, yeah, 1,400, you said?
We can go 12.
Sorry, did we include the battery in our calculations just now?
I think we probably have enough wood to get through this year, but maybe the thinking is we're gonna be out by the end of the season. So it's good to have a pile for next spring.
Yeah, so I think it's always nice to have something.
We also kind of lost momentum ordering from them. I mean, it was more common for us to order and pretty much every year.
We didn't for a couple of years.
Yeah, because of COVID,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Yeah,
I
last
just
year
want
was
them,
better order.
yeah, when they're
Yeah.
rationalizing, when they're rationalizing as they do, have to every year, Hope Mills existence. It's nice for them to see that people are actually making use of the wood.
Yeah, so $14 a board. And 110 pieces. So that would be $1,540. So if we went $1,200, we'd get 85 boards, 6 boards. Or
Even if we did $600 just to keep our hands in. And then we could order more next spring, just so we have some leeway in case we have any
unforeseen
drill
expenses.
failures or, you know.
Yeah, that's $600 against 43 boards, which isn't. It's not nothing, it's not a lot. I mean, it goes quick. I've used
Yeah, I know.
probably 28 plus boards just building fence.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm trying to get it. It's. I figured laminating 3 cedar boards together instead of using 6x6 pressure treat, because they're $80 each.
Mhm.
And it's like cheaper to use.
Yeah.
And how many
Well-
how many boards would you figure there's at the floating bridge?
Total maybe 20. We did count them up, and I think it was a bit more than 20, but a couple of them have been sort of laid down on muddy bits now, so
Mhm.
20 is probably.
Yeah.
There's another pile where the beaver lodge used to be, in that spot.
Yeah, I'm including that.
Oh, you are, okay.
There's like about 10 or 12 in each pile.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think we'll need those in the application.
Yeah, and there are, I mean,
Two piles. One by the old Beaver Lodge, one near the end. Of the,
Okay, sorry, I thought there was one on both sides of the bridge.
No, they used to be on the east side. They've been used.
so those 2 years we missed through COVID, and, I mean, it is telling on us, there's more moss on the board, on some of the boardwalks on Baxter Creek than we would have let happen had we not missed those 2 years. So those boardwalks will have to be replaced in the next, I would say, 2 or 3 years. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, nothing.
I
will
would
go away.
imagine. We
Yeah.
could maybe get 1 or 2 more ones.
Mhm,
To see how
Yeah.
that moves.
mhm.
But
The 70,000 miles. 500 years.
Mhm.
yeah, reasonable. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let the million in motion. John, seconded by Dave, all in favor? Okay. Dave, do you want to go with your
Yep,
signage?
that was any, you didn't want to put any website up right now, wasn't specifically the maps. I didn't know the
No,
policy.
through, to the committee, we don't typically pull up live links because with the internet, you never know what you can get. So if there is material for ahead of time, like how Robert sent the pamphlets, all included in the agenda, no problem, but under that control.
No problem. This is just related to, so the mountain bike club put up our own trail signs at the entrance to each of our trails on the M&R property last year at some point, and so, you know, people seem to really like them. The one piece of feedback we get is like, oh, how come there's signs on this trail but not on this trail? And like I was following the signs and I got to this intersection and, you know, I see this one, but then I don't know what's this way. And so we just wanted to propose, like, we do have someone with design experience that's on our, essentially is a graphic designer on our board. And he did the signs and he's happy to do more signs. And so I think I proposed it when I first displayed the signs here, but wanted to talk about it again, just the idea of, so for Grand Trunk Trail, Cedar Trail, and Ganny Transit, that we would make a like similar looking sign. So we pull it up there, but I didn't plan ahead. This is an example that he made of one for Grand Trunk Pathway. And so we had set these up so that it's based on mountain biking trail difficulty, easy, moderate, difficult, or very difficult, which is the same as skiing, green, blue, black. I know when I first brought this up, the question was, you know, how do these difficulties relate to hiking trails? And I didn't have an answer for that. But we're essentially would like to design matching signs for the Millbrook Valley trails that are on that property, as well as Ganny Transit, with the same design, but the Millbrook Valley Trail names and Millbrook Valley Trail logo in the corner, instead of the club logo. And then some sort of to social media, Trailforks link through a QR code. And a overview of sort of what the trail looks like. So this is actually this squiggle is the shape of the trail. So it's
Like a golf hole.
You get a loop, what's that?
Like a golf hole.
Like a golf hole. Oh, yeah, I guess they do that, don't they?
They do
Yeah,
do that.
so it shows you which end you're at. And then, the designers put a little hiker in the background there just to designate that it's a
Hiker friendly.
hiker trail, but then has specified hike and bike underneath. So we're just proposing to create matching signs, and the club can just go ahead and do that, or we can collaborate or something. But I wanted to bring that up today to just start the conversation. We're by no means trying to like make a trail seem like ours. We're just trying to have a cohesive signage, cohesive signage out in the forest for all users. So I guess the question for the township is, or for the committee is that okay? Are those types of signs that we would like to have on our trail? Is the information complete enough? Is this a bigger conversation that needs to be had? Or is it a simple one?
I mean, are you, what's the timeline for this? You're ready to order them?
Well, he just made this up based on one of our existing signs and changed, so it's probably not quite accurate. But I think it could be designed fairly quickly. It's just, and we could do it like as a mountain bike club. We could do it as a committee, we could collaborate. I think when we did our signs, they were about $50 each. So it was put them up with nails.
So is it MTB covering the costs?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Would you like a screenshot?
I think from our end, yeah, you could actually send
Did you want us to draft, like,
Send-
we could draft each sign?
the design so you can actually review it.
Okay.
Yeah, see what they're all about.
Yeah, thank you through you. That's all I was gonna say is if you do have the draft designs, if the committee is in support of adding these signs to the trail system as a collaboration, then great, then we can bring it to the meeting for comments, because if there's any design comments or concerns, then we should address. But you would want to be in support of adding those signs first.
Okay. That's fine, yeah, so if there's no general approval, then I can, maybe we can have those for next meeting, try to get them to you ahead of time, so they can be displayed.
Yeah, I think they're beautiful for one thing, and also useful, very useful, to people who haven't ever been on the trail before.
That's how we feel about it. It's just, as long as everyone's okay with the look and feel and the content.
Okay, very good. So I think in terms of the 2024 work plan, all I wanted to bring up was, I've done more sort of research into what the MTB is doing using Trailforks. And I think it could be very useful for us, like if we set up the same sort of idea, and just have a QR code that people could snap, on each trailhead entrance, in conjunction with these signs that we're gonna have up and the existing signs. And a blurb about each trail, which just could be, lifted from this, obviously, and maybe expanded on a bit. I like how we have, how you guys have additional pictures. You could certainly supply pictures for that. I guess my question would be like, how difficult is it to do? Like, is it a huge, is it a huge time investment?
No, I think it's already done, essentially. It's somewhat user generated with admin approval of things for moderation. And so the photos you see are often from users.
Yeah,
There's I hiked this trail or I rode this trail and I'm submitting a photo of that trail.
but if we wanted to do it for the trails specifically, like separate LNTP.
Yeah.
Like Med, where you're not, Med and Baxter, where you aren't even on
They-
those trails.
Yeah, they are on there.
Mhm.
And so I've set most of it up already.
Oh, so you have admin access.
I do, actually,
Okay.
yeah. And so for the ones that are non-biking, then I've designated them as that. And so when you go to trail course, you can toggle the bike trail at the top. And it doesn't hide the ones that are, so if I choose cycling, it doesn't hide the hiking trails, but it presents them differently. So instead of like a bold line, it's a fainter dashed line.
Okay,
So we do see the whole network.
Okay.
That's the only downside, that if you're trying to protect your trails from other users who you don't even want them to know about it, they will see it. So it'll just be displayed differently to let them know it's supposed to be there. But it's all set up. It could use updated descriptions probably, but I think it's fine.
okay, and so, and then we could just generate a QR code for each trail.
Yeah, each trail has its own link already, so I just need to generate a QR code.
Okay,
It's very straightforward.
so if I provide you with some more information on each trail, you could, as an event, we could sort of add it.
Yep.
And photos.
There must be a way that I can have photos, yeah. I would just do it. Yes, yes,
Because on yours, I go on and like, you know, like,
but we haven't put all those photos up, I don't think. It's like you rode that a particular trail, took a photo, they don't share this with others, and so you go to the trail works for that trail. You go to that.
oh, I see,
trail and then
so you
upload
don't need
it.
admin access then.
And admin might have to approve it or have the, yes,
Because there's like a tab. So photo,
yeah,
okay,
so there, but that's like user generated. Not official. content.
right, but we can do it. I could-
It can be done,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely, yes, I can. Yeah.
okay,
So I think with this, because these are township trails, I think we would do some investigation before we start sending them to a third party.
right,
Because the township wouldn't be, the administration is with another group, right? These are township owned trails, we can't control what's being sent.
well, we township could have administrative access.
You can, and whether or not you want to, but you can, because the Nebraska ended up doing this, where they became an admin for their own area, and they started making changes and closing. So if you wish, and if you don't wish, then you can help.
So it's worth talking about it, just like before we jump right into it, it is something that we have to look at first.
Right, but all I'm saying is, it'd be like Bridget using Instagram. You don't own Instagram, you have the administrative access of the township account. Same idea, we're not, yeah. We're not suggesting. Hand everything with the trail, so it's like that. So larger corporation used to have control.
I think this is on our work plan that we're still exploring options anyways, and through the subcommittee, we could meet on this separately too, if it's easier to talk through some options.
Yeah, maybe also go through that.
Sure. Yeah, whatever's needed.
I think one other broader comment is not necessarily that what we just discussed doesn't happen, but I think a broader issue is whether or not it should be for our trails in totality, whether Trailfork could be the best place for that. As it is, I know they have everything on there, but it is default, that's well known within the mountain bike community. And so, you know, the Instagram version, or the most popular version of that will be all trails. And so whether or not, you know, in addition, that will be the better place because that is all trails, and that's
Okay.
most broadly known database that there is. So I'm not saying not to Trailfork, but certainly have a think about that. Because effectively, you know, you can do set it up in exactly the same way on all trails. And so I know that was.
So it's the same functionality.
It's a,
Yeah. Okay, great.
And do you have
Um,
to subscribe to put
No.
data on it?
No, it's entirely free, but for all trails, then in order to download for offline use and some other extra functionality, then you need to pay for that.
Mhm.
But it's basically a free, just to put it out there. So I think to me, for my mind, given that obviously our trails are predominantly hiking and obviously throughout the entirety previous trail system, that would be the better place for them. I have nothing against also adding them on trail course and doing that as well. Okay. I don't know what your sense is on that, Dave.
And no, I think it's a good idea. I'm just, not sure how to navigate how to those.
No, exactly, I know, I think some need to think more about it.
Could just be an exposure piece too, right? You could have the same information on both websites available for anyone who uses either program. As long as the information is consistent, it wouldn't make a difference.
Okay, well, I'll set up a meeting. Sounds good. Okay, any items for next meeting?
Oh, sorry, before you move on, I just wanted to ask, the issue around Photoshop with the brochure updates, have we resolved that or is that still outstanding?
We can. Probably work out a way of doing it, but I don't know. But
And Griffin, you had other.
Well, so I would just need like a copy of the file to see if I could use some of the online tools that I have for editing, stuff like that. I just wouldn't know without having the copy to play around with a little bit.
Right.
Okay.
Still.
Do you have that? Okay, so,
I think it's the best way to have one show.
Is it?
and then just so the community's aware, I'll be able to update number 8. And we added to the Needler's tree replacement, we added men's trees as well because we also know that. So those are also scheduled for spring.
Yeah. Do you have a timeline for that?
I just waiting for them to get back.
Oh, the local.
The, well, the full for the see.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sir, they're very.
Okay. Oh, do we have your?
You have my number.
I do, okay.
That's okay, sure.
That's all right. I'll see you on the 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything else? That's very what we did, 11 we did, we told we did.
Yep.
Right.
So.
Anybody have anything now for the next meeting? I think we want to recap of workday. And let's put on the agenda, Trail Forks All Trails discussion.
As a follow-up.
Hopefully we can have a meeting now and then.
I'll probably follow up the signs, but I'll let you know by email.
Okay.
Rob, just with regards to your delegation for some of those tasks, will you send out an email kind of summarizing what you're hoping to have everyone do, or are we just gonna meet kind of?
Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna, for some of the jobs I'll have, like I'm gonna give John and Cole a bit of a plan in terms of what I see in terms of.
You can send me that little picture.
I can do better than that. I was just sketching.
Weather forecast calls for 15 and sunny.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we
could plan for.
we haven't been rained out in years, so I think it's been over 10 years.
There's nothing wood in here.
Okay, next meeting date, May 27th, trail report, Dave and Gary. Can I have a motion for adjournment? John, second by Griffin, all in favor? All right, thank you very much. Anybody else stop there?
Yeah.